But I want to transition to another phenomenal edge rusher in our league and what the future might hold for him. Maxx Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders. Much is being said right now about his future. Will he get traded? Who will he get traded to? And will new Raiders head coach Clint Kubiak want to start new by trading him? There are a lot of questions with Maxx Crosby right now. Obviously, you can tune into his podcast. He just recently did an episode with Caleb Williams. Hint, hint, is that, potential, is that, and they call it in show business the foreshadowing. I don't know. But we're here to talk about the rumors regarding him and to create some rumors of our own. But Patrick, I'll start with you. How real do you think the rumors are? You have people, credentialed media members from major networks saying, yes, Maxx Crosby is gone. He has played his last snap as a Raider. He is no longer going to be in Las Vegas. How much credence do you put into those rumors?
The issue is that we see rumors like this about a star player every offseason. Sometimes there is smoke and fire. Sometimes it's all just smoke. Like I think back to Tyreek Hill getting traded to Miami, right? That was real. That was a real one. But then the amount of time, like remember the Lamar rumors when his contract ran out? Remember that entire thing, and they franchise tagged him and then extended him. And it was like, oh yeah, he was actually going to be gone. Like no, and it happens every year. It happens every year. But the journalist in me, the optimism in me, the desire for chaos across the NFL in me says, yeah, man, let's have it happen. Let's have it happen. But I'm not going to lie, the realist in me struggles to get too hype about stuff like this. It really does, because I feel like then you get your hopes up and then it feels like everything is kind of just gonna, whatever. Yeah, Trey Hendrickson just, got signed to a $40 million deal with the Ravens, whatever. Like, no, that's not how it should be. But if I'm going into this not expecting Maxx Crosby to randomly get traded, then I'm happy with even a David Ojabo reinventing the market, or not reinventing the market. Odafe Owe getting a crazy deal or something like that. All of a sudden that's crazy to me. So I like to enter these with low expectations. As to how real it is quite difficult for me to tell, but I do think there is a little bit of fire here. I do.
I would kind of side with you. I would put it at a coin flip right now. I'd say 50-50. If he gets traded, I won't be surprised the fact that he's traded. I think maybe we'll be surprised by the team. Some team may come out of the woodworks and offer up a ridiculous amount. But if you tell me, hey, Maxx Crosby got traded, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. If you tell me, hey, new coach, the Raiders think they can be somewhat competitive, they kept Maxx Crosby, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Worth pointing out before we get into some of our superlatives of potential teams that Maxx Crosby could go to, I want to read you his cap hits for the following year. Mind you, coming into the 2025 season, he will be 28 years old. These are the following cap hits: 38 million, 35 million, 29 million. There is a potential out in 2028 for zero dead cap, which is actually really nice. 27 million in 2028, 28 million in 2029. He hits free agency at the age of 33 in 2030. So, I think it's time to get into what you guys really want to see. We
Let me
sat here
speak
and we're
on
like,
that contract
what?
really quick. Let me just speak on that
Yeah,
contract.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That might be the best bang for your buck in the edge rusher
That's not
market right
bad. I
now.
was gonna say there's not a
It's
year where it's just a cap
great.
casualty. Yeah.
Well, in the modern, and that's the thing, when you get ahead of the eight ball on a contract, the rewards are there, because now we have a guy
Yep.
like TJ Watt getting paid 40 million.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so yeah, a deal like that, I feel like everyone should be interested in trying to bring in someone like
Would you
that.
rather have Myles Garrett at 46 million or 45 million, whatever it is, or Maxx Crosby at 36? I'd probably have Maxx Crosby at 36.
Well, if you said anyone but Myles Garrett, I would agree with you.
Yeah, well, it's,
I
it's
think
kind of
Myles
hard.
Garrett might just
It's
be
kind
one
of
of them
hard.
ones.
Yeah, he is one of them ones, unfortunately. The Browns would take the greatest pass rusher of our generation. Like, that's just so sad. But he had his chance to get out. He got his bag, whatever. So now we have some potential landing spots for Maxx Crosby. I want to start with you, Patrick. Who is the most likely team, in your opinion, to trade for Maxx Crosby?
Well, I mean, you mentioned the Caleb Williams connection. I'm gonna give
There
you.
we go.
Yeah, I know that you like to hear that one.
I
The
do.
Chicago Bears. Like, let's be
Yeah.
real here. They need a guy like him. They do. And I do understand, like, there's other positions that they want to pay. But right now, the quarterback is young. He's on that rookie deal. They're trying to free up space. You heard about the Tremaine Edmonds thing. I think now is as good of a time as ever to bring in a star edge rusher because they haven't been able to do it through the draft. They've really been bad at it. Remember last time the Chicago Bears made a move to bring in an edge rusher from the Raiders?
I do believe he is a guy by the name of Khalil Mack who
Yeah.
was phenomenal for the Bears. I do
Yeah, it
recall
went
that.
pretty well, right?
Yeah, I
So
did.
imagine that, but instead of Mitch Trubisky on the offense with you, you got Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson instead of Matt Nagy. I'd feel a lot better about that if I'm being entirely honest here. So, yeah, I mean, let history repeat itself, embrace it. Let's do it. I think that is I would say, the most likely scenario.
I absolutely love the fact that you brought up the Chicago Bears. But Bears are negative $9 million in cap space right now. I don't
Again,
know.
they're working.
They're working, and we've heard rumors that Edmonds is on the block, and DJ Moore is on the block, and Edwards is on the block, and
and why do you think that is? Why do you think we're hearing those rumors?
They're probably trying to clear the books right now. They're probably trying to clear the books
because they heard Mad Max is available.
I agree.
Let's go ahead and do it.
And they sent Caleb on a little spy mission on his podcast because that's the way the modern NFL works right now. If you're not going on a guy's podcast, you're not really recruiting.
You're doing it wrong.
Okay,
This
you're
was
doing it wrong.
This was why Belichick had to leave. He wasn't into the new meta.
Dude, no, he couldn't tap in. He was stuck with the old game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he confused podcasts with 25-year-old girlfriends, so it's all just messed up right now. But, sorry. Such a stray.
That's a stretch.
Such a stray of Bill Belichick. But no, the Bears, from a need standpoint, from a push all your chips in the table, you're absolutely right. Hey, we have Caleb Williams, and we're paying him nothing for the next couple of years. Push everything. That's the move they did with Mitch Trubisky, which was great. Only problem is they did it with Mitch Trubisky. So
and Matt Nagy.
The move, I tell everybody, the move in a vacuum was phenomenal for the Bears. They got great production from Khalil Mack. They just weren't right on where they were as a team. They just didn't have what it took to kind of go that extra mile. When I look at a team that could trade for Maxx Crosby, I do want a team that is in a good cap situation. So that's my only gripe with your Bears pick. And we do this every single episode, and I know it seems like I'm a fan of this team, and you could tell by my shirt I'm clearly not. But I think the Commanders make a ton of sense. They've got elite capital. They've got 67. You can make that joke in the comments. They've got $67 million worth of cap space right now. They have a defensive coach in Dan Quinn. I really do think that they are a team with the ammunition to go get a guy like Maxx Crosby. Clearly, the Bears and pretty much every other team in the NFL has the desire to get Maxx Crosby. I'm more so looking at the teams with the ammunition. Now, if you're looking at Washington, again, that's kind of the same logic as the Bears, where it's we believe in our quarterback 100%. Jaden Daniels was phenomenal in his rookie year. Obviously, was banged up last year. But if we believe in Jaden Daniels so much to the point that we think that we are going to be contenders during his rookie contract, why not push all the chips on the table? Why not go out and get a guy like Maxx Crosby? I think the belief in their quarterback is very similar to the Bears. I don't know if they're as good as the Bears with the rest of the roster, but I do think that this is a move that you could see as, hey, this is the Commanders acknowledging that last year was a fluke. They are a good team. They have a great quarterback, and they're going to make some moves here to really put themselves in a good spot.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as for the most fun, which of these do you look at and be like, that'll be the most entertaining one? I personally look at Baltimore. I do. Yeah. I think if Baltimore were to bring him in, he's that piece of the defense that they've been looking for, the star in the defensive front, on the defensive line. They haven't had the outstanding, unbelievable member of the defensive front. I mean, unless you want to count the 1 year of Matt Abuike being the guy, they haven't really had that since.
Yep.
Yeah, they haven't really had that since Terrell Suggs.
No.
It doesn't really feel like they have. Bringing in a guy like Maxx Crosby, Then you have Roquan Smith on the second level. You have Kyle Hamilton in the third. You
Mm-hmm.
feel really good about that. I think that'll be a
Yeah.
very fun scenario.
Yeah, that's a good stack
With
for a
Minter.
first-year head coach and Jesse Minter. That's
Yeah.
all right. That's pretty good. I think the Baltimore Ravens would be super fun. I mean, again, there's this. It seems like the AFC has maybe diffused a little bit in the last year and a half or so, with the Chiefs not making the playoffs last year, the Bengals not making the playoffs, the Ravens not making the playoffs, the Bills only winning one playoff game. The AFC is seemingly wide open, and a guy like Maxx Crosby would turn the tide of that
Yes.
conference significantly. So you're absolutely right. Like, if the Ravens get Maxx Crosby, if Maxx Crosby's a Raven tomorrow, I'm saying, hey, I think the Ravens can go to the Super Bowl. Rookie coach and all, rookie OC and all. Like, I do think that makes them the premier contender in the AFC. But I'm actually going to echo something that you just talked about when I talk about most fun teams. I think the most fun team would be the Chicago Bears. I
Mhm.
do believe that the Chicago Bears would have been in an absolute dogfight with Seattle in the NFC Championship game had they had Maxx Crosby last year. Because this was a team that had absolutely zero pass rush. They could not get to the quarterback to save their life. And if you need any evidence of that, go back and watch the 49ers game. Brock Purdy looked like prime Joe Montana. It was ridiculous. He was like Dougie in on dudes. Andrew Billings was chasing him down after 8 seconds, and then he was Dougieing in the end zone. It was embarrassing. They had no pass rush, right? Part of that is, I think, some bad moves and some bad money management by Ryan Poles. The other part of it, dude, they were just decimated by injuries. Shamar Turner got hurt. Dio Dangbo got hurt. Dexter got hurt for a little bit. Like, they were just completely decimated on the defensive line. Now, going into this next year, you look at the Bears and you say, they don't have money. They don't have a premium pick. That's how you would get a edge rusher to solve that problem. Well, what if I interest you in a guy like Maxx Crosby? Again, I mentioned my gripe with the money. That's still evident. But we're ignoring money for right now. We're just talking about most fun. What would be great for the league? Maxx Crosby in Chicago, eating Portillo's, getting some deep dish pizza with the boys after the game would turn the Chicago Bears, you could argue, into the NFC favorite going into next year. I do feel that strongly about the impact that a guy like Maxx Crosby could have on a team like the Bears, who's so desperate for defense. Next, I have another fun team, but I'll let you go first with this one. We're going to talk about the rich getting richer. What rich team already would get even richer by trading for a guy like Maxx Crosby? And I really hope we don't have the same team here, because I am really excited to talk about my team.
Well, is your team's ninth in cap space and has 44 million?
My team is not ninth in cap space, but my team might play in the same division as the team with ninth in cap space.
Oh, you're gonna say Seattle?
What team is richer right now than Seattle?
Yeah,
Not only
I mean,
rich,
the issue there is, like you said, the extensions and everything. So they
Boo.
probably have to let some
money
guys
doesn't
go.
exist in this
But
exercise.
let's say that they chose to go all in. You're right.
Mhm.
Seattle would be cool. But if the Rams were maybe trying to look at this route of, remember F them picks, remember that movement?
Yep.
What if they went with a little bit of that and a little bit of, oh yeah, we have a good edge rusher in Jared Verse. We'll put him on one side, and then yeah, we have some other nice pieces on our defensive line. Byron Young's great.
Yep.
Let's trade him as part of the package, and then replace him with Maxx Crosby, because
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
No. It's not needed. They
No.
don't need it.
No.
Like, there's other areas of the defense they need to upgrade.
Corner.
Edge rusher is not one of them.
Yep.
But they could get better in theory if they chose to do this. And I wouldn't be completely and utterly like that's unrealistic. In all honesty.
That is a very less need move to, you're right. Say, first off, F them picks. Second off, say, all right, Seattle just won the Super Bowl. F them, and go out and get a guy like Maxx Crosby. My first thought is, if the Rams do get Maxx Crosby, certainly they are the NFC favorite. My second thought is the 49ers better pray to God that Trent Williams comes back, or else they are doomed. They are straight up doomed.
That becomes an interesting story.
Yeah, that becomes an interesting topic. But going back to Seattle for a second, just in terms of the rich getting richer, a team not only that is rich because they won the Super Bowl, not only is rich because they have the best defensive play caller in the NFL in Mike McDonald, but the defensive line for Seattle was so deep. They were deeper than they were, I think, spectacular, right? This is a defensive line that had 5 B to B plus edge rushers, no A's, I wouldn't say, but 5 B to B plus guys. And this is a team that, if you add a superstar like Maxx Crosby, Oh my gosh, teams couldn't even move the ball against Derek Hall and Boye Mafe. What are they going to do against Maxx Crosby? So it is kind of mind blowing to think about that. Now I want to get into what would be the dumbest trade. What could the Raiders do that would be a pinnacle Raider move? Just be dumb, be stupid. What would be the dumbest team that could trade for Maxx Crosby in your opinion?
Arizona. I mean, very, very simply, Arizona. Because, like, the Jets, they're not even going to think about it. Like, the teams that are obviously rebuilding aren't going to think about it. But Arizona, I feel like if LaFleur is going into this job thinking, oh, yeah, I need to compete instantly, I could see a desperation play bringing in Maxx Crosby.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be what they do. They
No.
should be trying to play the long game here, waiting a little bit. And then over time, maybe Stafford ages out. Maybe the Seattle regresses a little bit. The 49ers, their windows close. And then all of a sudden, these draft picks that you might potentially use to trade for Maxx Crosby matter a lot, right? These first rounders will allow you to really take advantage when the other teams in the West fall off. But if they choose to trade them for Maxx Crosby, they're screwed. They won't have those draft picks. They're just going to be going all in just to be fourth in the division. So I think, without a doubt, Arizona is the team I look at.
Yeah, we took different routes. I agree with you, by the way. I think it would be really stupid for Arizona to trade from. But we took slightly different routes. I think the dumbest team that could trade for Maxx Crosby would be the Houston Texans. Like, how much of a
Yeah.
good thing could you possibly have? I mean, that is kind of just like a 12-year-old playing Madden to have
I
Will
mean,
Anderson
maybe
and Danielle
Danielle
Hunter.
Hunter's involved, and that's
Uh,
why.
I mean, I wasn't thinking that Danielle Hunter would be involved because, I mean, if you're the Raiders, why would
If
you
you're the
trade?
Raiders, why would you do it?
Yeah, why would
Yeah.
you do that? So like to me, it would be like the Texans are just trying to stack Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, Maxx Crosby. I don't know that Danielle Hunter would be a prized asset for the Raiders. They're not gonna get older at the end, so and that just more goes to poor allocation of resources. Would it be freaking awesome to have three edge rushers like those guys on one team? Yes. Is that just so incomprehensibly stupid to allocate like $120 million to three edge rushers? Yeah, so I think that would be the dumbest. Moving on now to the biggest game changer, the one that would turn the tide of the NFL the most, the one that would instantly, I think, make this team elite. I went with the Buffalo Bills. Similar to your reasoning with the Baltimore Ravens, where they instantly become the belle of the ball in the AFC. I think very similarly about the Buffalo Bills. I'd say that their edge rushers right now are unspectacular. If you add a superstar to that defense, which it seems at times that they really need a supercharge in their pass rush, they really need help on their pass defense. If you add a guy like that, I mean, if you think about it from just a logical standpoint, the Bills play with so many leads and they score so many points. Teams a lot of times are in passing mode against the Bills. If you have a guy like Maxx Crosby, who's going to be able to pin his ears back and get after the quarterback, I mean, he might set his own personal record for stat. He might have 24 sacks. Myles Garrett's record might only last a year. I think instantly the Buffalo Bills become the Super Bowl favorite with Maxx Crosby. Again, very similar to your logic with the Baltimore Ravens. I feel the same way with the Buffalo Bills. If they get Maxx Crosby, Josh Allen's going to be wearing a ring along with his 2018 draft mate, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I went with Dallas. I think Dallas would
Ooh.
upgrade severely by making
Ooh.
this move here.
I like Dallas.
Issue is cap,
Yeah.
without a doubt. It's cap
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
But again, what's nice about a trade is that, in theory, this is a hypothetical thing. In theory, is CD Lamb involved in this?
Ooh.
Is
Extend
that the type of
Pickens,
situation
trade CD to the Raiders.
exactly? Like, is
Ooh.
that what we're looking at here? Maybe.
Ooh.
I don't know. Like, it's ideas to float around, at least. If
Jerry
any
Jones,
team were
pick
to
up the
make a
phone.
trade like that, yeah, if any team were looking around and saying, "Yeah, I don't want to do picks. I want to give away a player."
That's
Actually,
really interesting, actually. That's really
it
interesting.
it would be the Dallas Cowboys. Now, again, likelihood of this, I wouldn't say it's overly likely.
No.
But if they find a way to pull this off, ooh, hell of an upgrade. Hell of an upgrade.
That would
It's
be
exactly what they need. It's
And that would be
exactly
a
what they need.
win-win because what would you
Yeah,
want if you're the Raiders? You want weapons for your young quarterback Fernando Mendoza coming in.
exactly.
You
Yep.
can deal the lose. So my question then would become: it's Maxx Crosby, CeeDee Lamb, and what
Well,
third?
I don't like, maybe we're looking at just straight. Really, I
One-to-one
think it
swap
is.
for Maxx Crosby. That would be kind of ridiculous in the sense of just so wildly so wild a player of Maxx Crosby's caliber getting traded for one player like that's a deal we've not seen in the NFL. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, 1-for-1. I mean, we saw 1-for-1 Jermaine Johnson for
I
Tavante
mean,
Sweat
one for
earlier today.
one superstar x
No,
superstar is what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hitting
It
a
was.
little
Yeah, I
bit,
was gonna
but
say Sam Bradford was traded for Nick Foles. That was two superstars. Obviously, I
yeah.
remember, but
But no, like
that's
again, likelihood of this, not really. But if the Cowboys could pull off a way to get Maxx Crosby, they instantly upgrade severely as a football team.
yeah.
There's no doubting that.